Louie Herron, sales to sales manager, sales to CEO, getting my sales to sales and CEO all jumbled together here, guys. Look, we're talking about going to the next level. We're talking about sales to CEO. We're covering content and information that I believe in my heart with all the passion I have, that the 25 years I've been in the business, everything that I've done to go from salesperson to dealer principal, I'm outlining for you. I'm just convicted. I believe there's got to be some folks out there that want to go to the next level. Here's my thinking. There's the car business is a grind of a business. And if you're going to do it and you enjoy it and you know you make phenomenal money, you might as well make as much money as you can and climb as high as you can. The whole goal is to get you to the next level. So again, if you're loving what I'm saying, if you like what you hear, do me a favor, keep listening, like, subscribe, comment below so we can have some dialogue back and forth, and let some other folks know by maybe even sharing the message. So we're covering today handling objections, installs. Now look, I have content in videos that I want to go through specifically on closes, really breaking things down. So I want to generically just cover this. When you get objections or you get stalls, there's two different things, right, we're talking about here. Like a stall is something they're just kind of putting you at bay for a moment. Objection is something you have to overcome. You have to be able to recognize the difference between the two. But in both of those, let's walk you through the steps of what you want to do. The first time you get an objection of any kind or you get a stall, you always want to just kind of acknowledge that and agree with that, right? Think about this. You can't win a war when you're confronting 24/7. In other words, if I'm going to have a conversation with somebody and we're in confrontation and my goal is to get them to lean my way and we're fighting, it's not going to work, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you empathize, understand, agree, and acknowledge. Now, when I agree with somebody, if someone says, hey, the payment's too high, okay, I may not agree that I think the payment is too high. I may agree that they think the payment is too high. Now, listen to what I just said. I may not agree for myself the payment's too high for the value and features and benefits they've selected on the car, but I may feel like I understand they feel it's too high. So when I'm doing that, all I'm doing is buying myself a moment to let them know I understand. I completely where you're coming from, right? When you're talking about an objection, there's a kind of a process we go through. Let's say we're in the close for a moment. When we're going through objections, we want to first agree and empathize and get them to understand and know that we understand. The second thing we want to do before we rush right into the close is we want to make sure we isolate, right? Because what we don't want to do, and so many times there's a lot of closers that watch my content, a lot of great car people, and we all lose sight every now and again that we just run right through the motions. In other words, we agree, we understand, then bam, if I could, would you? And the problem with closing car deals or handling objections in the close is a lot of salespeople are conditioned and taught to get commitments, not close. There's two entirely different things. And when you're talking about closing a car deal is on value. Okay, it's on substantiation. It's on making sure that they understand what they've picked and selected and how to justify and really go through in comparison of the trade-in. You're giving them value. Gaining a commitment is simply just one thing. If I could do this, would you do that? If I make this happen, would you agree to buy today? Those are like ninth inning, last resort kind of things. But when you go to your sales desk, what do they tell you? Hey man, give me a commitment. What do they want to do? What do they want to do? Give me a commitment. So you're conditioned, right? They're not teaching you how to close a car deal. They're teaching you how to get a commitment. So what you want to do is you want to make sure before you close the car deal or before you actually get the commitment, what you need to do is make sure you isolate. Otherwise, you are going to chase your tail. Guy says payment's too high. I understand. In fact, look, when I saw the payment on the paper when my boss put it down initially, I kind of thought the same thing. However, I found some information I'd love to share with you that may reflect something just a tad bit different. But let me ask you real quick, other than the payment, is there anything else that would keep us from moving forward on the deal? Other than, I want you to just say that to yourself in your mind, other than, ingrain in your brain, other than, hey, I'm not getting enough for my trade. I hear you, I understand completely. Let me ask you, other than the trade, is there any other thing that would keep us from moving forward in the deal? Again, the reason why is if you don't isolate that the trade is the only objection, you're gonna overcome the trade, and then he's gonna say, okay, I understand, but my wife's not here. Okay, then we get through the wife, oh, you know what, I don't make a decision on the first place I go. And you're gonna just chase your tail. So you wanna make sure that you're constantly isolate the objection before you try to overcome the objection. Remember something, we're always trying to move the ball down the field, right? So you get a stall in the process, you get a stall in the meet and greet, I'm just looking. Fantastic, phenomenal. Glad you chose us to just look. And when you're talking about looking for an automobile, are you thinking more new or used, or what brought you to the dealership, or what circumstance are you in? So you're kind of clarifying what's going on, but the goal is when you get a stall, you keep moving the process down the field. Your job as a sales pro, your job is to make sure that you're going through the meet and greet all the way to the write-up situation to put yourself in a position to close the deal, right? So anything that would prevent you from that is a no-go, is an absolute no-go. I want you to consider something just for a moment. You get yourself in a needs assessment and you realize based on the needs assessment that the client tells you, hey, you know what, I want to be around $350 a month, I'm paying $350 a month now. Meanwhile, you know, you have a gut feeling, the desk knows when you go to talk to the desk, the guy's $4,000 upside down, how much cash do you want to put down? Guy says nothing, fantastic, I got no money down, I got $4,000 negative equity, and the guy said his credit on a scale of 1 to 10 was a 3. Lovely, trifecta, bad credit, no money down, negative equity. This sounds great. You're thinking to yourself, here goes wasting our time. Look, I caution you, stop. Stop for a moment. How many times have you ever put a car deal together that you thought in the middle of the deal, you're thinking, there is no way in the world this deal's going down, and 45 minutes later it goes down. Listen, if you kick that customer to the curb and you pre-qualify yourself and you don't handle those objections, those stalls, those circumstances up front, you boot them out, all you're gonna do is go sit right back in that cubicle, right back at your office, look at your organizer and get blacked out because here we go, now I gotta make dials again to get somebody else to do what? Get in front of you. Well, you just had somebody in front of you. You just had the guy in front of you. You didn't work the deal. Work every deal till the deal is dead. We're talking about handling objections. We're talking about stalls. We're talking about anything and everything you need to know to get you from sales to sales manager. It's in the course. If you want to get a copy of the course, just click the link below in the description. If you want a copy of my free book, which I think you'll totally enjoy, Driven by Fire, that link's also there. And listen, do me a favor, like, subscribe, make a comment. Let's go back and forth. Let's talk about it. Again, this is Louie Herron with Sales to CEO.